AITA for not wanting my disabled sister at my wedding? The title sounds awful, but please read all the way till the end. Do not speed read this. My 22F sister, Anna, 21, is special need. She has severe autism, and while she is verbal, most of her communication is physical, like sign language due to her social discomfort. She does speak around family though and has pretty bad cognitive skills. She can't comprehend boundaries and lives with our parents so they can best watch her. I am getting married in 3 months. We planned a simple wedding and reception at my fiancé, Michael's parents' barn and farm. Since it's all gonna be DIY and we aren't planning anything too expensive, we can do things pretty quickly since flowers, food and decor will be provided by his family. I sent out invites last week and I asked that Anna not come. I told my parents I understood that would mean they may not show up, but it was just a heads up. Why no Anna? She has an issue with touching Michael and trying to kiss him. At times when we were at my parents' house, Anna would try and grab Michael's hands, try to lean in to kiss him, or would have a really bad shutdowns if she wasn't allowed to be directly next to him. We've tried speaking to her, but there's only so much we can do when she doesn't really understand. I told my parents I just want one day for Michael to be my partner and not Anna's comfort person. They called me selfish and asked how I expected them to agree to something like this. They told me Anna is disabled and may never experience a wedding of her own, and while I have Michael for probably the rest of our lives, she'll have no one, and that Michael and I can be a little more understanding to the reality of her life. I feel like a total ass, and what they're saying has really gotten to me, and I'm starting to question my decision. AITA? Update. My parents called me letting me know they won't be coming and that it's best I don't bring Michael around anymore since I've chosen some man over my sister. They told me that Anna wanting to kiss Michael and hug him is normal for a woman her age and that she doesn't understand what her feelings mean. I suggested they try to redirect her during the wedding, but they said Michael is gonna be family to her and he needs to get over it. I suggested they watch the wedding via web, and they said that's not fair and that they deserve to see things in person. I asked if I could pay for someone with proper credentials to watch her that day while they attention, and they asked what I would do when they died and if I'd pawn her off every time. I dropped the unfortunate truth bomb that I don't want to put any more of my life aside for Anna anymore. I did it up until I turned 18. And that Anna is not my life's responsibility and I won't be her keeper. I assured them I'd pay for her care, but if she's okay doing this to Michael, then I worry for if I ever do choose to have children and what she'd do to them. They said I was sick for suggesting she'd do anything to my future children and hung up on me. They sent a lengthy text telling me not to contact them until I could do the right thing. So THTS where we are right now. Please read. This is not an excuse to talk badly about disabled peoples, nor is this an opportunity to air out your hatred for them. My sister is not a scapegoat to hate disabled people. She is a human being with feelings. She is not a statistic. She is not evil. Please stop treating my sister as if she's a malicious monster. This debacle is between me and my parents. Leave her out of it. Please. I am begging you. I don't want to hear why you think my sister sucks. NTA. It would be unfair and unkind to Michael to force him to endure that on his wedding day. Make it clear to your parents that you're not looking for agreement. Anna is not invited. Period. NTA. Regardless of her disabilities, this day isn't about her. If your parents can't understand why she isn't invited, then they can sit it out too. NTA. Your partner deserves to not be sexually harassed every day. but especially on his wedding day. It doesn't matter if she doesn't understand. She still can't do it. If your family won't prevent her from doing things, then she isn't allowed in those situations. NTA. Neither is poor Anna. It's your parents. They told on themselves. Because it sounds like they expect you to share your spouse with her to make her life more fair. Somehow, it really sounds like they've been secretly encouraging and supporting this behavior. The most charitable thing I can come up with is maybe they've deluded themselves into thinking anything to avoid a meltdown. But that way lies madness. NTA. It's your wedding and your sister doesn't have boundaries with the one person they need her to have boundaries with. They told me Anna is disabled and may never experience a wedding of her own. So? Life isn't fair, and that doesn't mean you have to sacrifice what is likely yet another thing for Anna. This is your day and there's no reasonable accommodation except maybe stream the wedding for Anna to watch via a screen given Anna's boundary problems. NTA. Your fiancé deserves to feel safe and comfortable at his own wedding, instead of being worried about being accosted by your sister. Have you spoken to your parents about their long-term care plans for Anna? I would make sure they're not planning for her to move in with you and Michael, and to make sure she gets the appropriate time to be transitioned to her new situation, and may never experience a wedding of her own. If it's as bad as you say, forcing contact against an unwilling man with unwanted kisses and not understanding why that's not okay, I would say it's a safe bet she won't marry. I hope you can set up some firm boundaries. Your parents need to back off and give you some credit for having your own life and not being willing to make everything about them and their misery. Of course they want to bring her. They won't need a sitter, and can possibly drink, dance and have some fun while you and Michael wrestle with her needs and demands at your own wedding. NTA. As an above commenter mentioned, this isn't a disability problem, it is on your parents for not reinforcing appropriate boundaries. This also isn't about just having your husband be yours. He shouldn't have to be sexually harassed on his wedding day. And just because she has a disability doesn't discount what is done to your husband. It might be pricey for your parents, but finding a disability-savvy sitter for a few hours so the day could run smoothly wouldn't kill them. NTA. It's unreasonable to ask you to spend the wedding managing her behavior. They can't really expect you to share your husband whenever she's around and need to figure out a way of teaching her not to do this for the long term. NTA. But extended family might have issues with your decision, so be prepared. My ex-Sil was disabled, Downs and non-verbal on the spectrum. She functioned at a 3-0 level. Meltdowns and fits were the norm for functions. Totally fine. My son was turning 12 and I scheduled his birthday party at an arcade with go-karts, rather than a park or at-home party. I asked for her not to attend as this would probably be his last birthday party. It was. And I wanted the attention on him. I understood she couldn't help it, but she would have been very overstimulated and constantly melt down. My ex-Mil came without my Sil. She understood and was okay with it. Her family was extremely rude about it and basically said I wasn't part of their family anymore. I have zero regrets about my decision though. NTA. I don't care if I get downvoted. You're right. She is incapable of leaving your fiancé alone on the only day she needs to leave him alone. Best wishes to you and your future husband. ETA. Since this blew up, let me clarify. She needs to leave him alone every day, and that is solely the responsibility of the parents to teach those boundaries, not op or fiancé. NTA. That kind of behavior is terribly inappropriate for a wedding. This day is about you and Michael, not her. NTA. However, I'm very concerned for your husband and how your parents responded. In your post, it literally sounds like they expect you to share your spouse with your sister because she probably won't have one of her own. WTF? Your husband deserves to not be sexually harassed on any day, and he doesn't need to be shared. This is a further problem than just your wedding day. NTA. You are not being selfish. Your parents are so concerned with your sister they are ignoring how her behavior is violating someone else's personal space and body. I am sure Michael is understanding of the situation, but he should not have to worry about being physically violated every time he comes in contact with your sister. Unwanted kissing and touching is a violation. I understand she may not realize what she is doing, but it doesn't make it okay. Also, you are entitled to have a wedding that is about you. It doesn't make you selfish or unkind towards your sister. You told your parents you understood they may not come if Anna's is not invited. So you aren't even asking them to choose between the two of you. You have given them the okay not to come. I was about to YT you into the ground but sue NTA. If the genders were reversed, there is no way anyone would expect someone's partner to be okay with being, well, sexually harassed. She may not know exactly what she's doing, but it is sexual, physical harassment, and that's not okay. NTA and your parents need to find a therapeutic way to establish knowledge of physical boundaries. Especially since she obviously does not carry on this way with everyone she meets. She understands on some level. NTA. Not wanting to have to watch your sister sexually harass your fiancé at your wedding is a completely reasonable boundary to set. I understand that she may not be able to help her behavior, but it's still completely inappropriate and not fair to Michael. Is it possible to find a special needs caregiver for your sister so that your parents are still able to attend? Or would they refuse if Anna weren't invited? Anna is disabled and may never experience a wedding of her own. So your parents think it's fair for you to not get to experience your own wedding so your sister can? Seeing in the comments that you don't have the best relationship with your parents. I'm guessing this is far from the first time they've put your sister's needs ahead of yours. This is a really unfortunate situation. But I think NTA. You're not wrong for wanting to enjoy your groom at your wedding. This is not a case of a bridezilla being unwilling to deal with a minor inconvenience for an important family member. If your sister can't stand to be a few feet away from the groom without having a total meltdown, how is the ceremony supposed to work? NTA. Neither you nor your husband are responsible for your sister's disability, or the things she won't be able to do because of it. Also, please make sure she doesn't make your husband uncomfortable with her touching and kissing. NTA. You are allowed to be selfish on your wedding day. It is supposed to be about you and your future husband, and nobody should take that away from you. You should get to have this one day that is just about the two of you. NTA parents need to learn that every life circumstance can't revolve around their disabled children. Your finance shouldn't have to deal with sexual harassment on your wedding day. You should have to deal with your sister sexually harassing your finance on your wedding day. You're allowed to have days and events in your life that don't revolve around your sister's disability.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.